everybody doing? Let's hear for eXp tonight. All right, yeah. We are all so excited to be here, excited to be a part of eXp, excited about the opportunities that are available to us right now. Aren't you glad we're doing real estate right now when everything's available to us? All right, so there's nothing like being at the right place at the right time, and I have the honor and privilege of introducing our first speaker tonight. He's somebody we all probably know and we all love. If you know him, you definitely love him. I'm talking about Brent Gove, and so if you haven't met Brent yet, you've got to introduce yourself. He is super down to earth, very friendly, loving. Somebody recently asked me, so tell me like the negative part about Brent. And I, honest to God, had to say, I honestly can't think of something. Like, he is just what you see is what you get. So he's great. He's built an organization, a sales organization of over 5,400 people. And so we all, yeah. And I just want to congratulate you for being in the right place at the right time tonight, because as someone who could speak from experience, you want to be in this guy's vortex. So let's hear for Brent right now.
Thank you, Krista Proctor. How's everyone doing tonight? Man, the energy's off the hook in this room, man. It's so exciting. I think about other companies and what they're doing tonight. Nothing, right? And so it's just, and they're great companies, great people. But man, ever since I joined this company 2.5 years ago, I go to sleep excited. I wake up excited. Oh, come on, you were always that way. No, I wasn't. Prior to joining eXp, I could tell you after 20 years in real estate, we would go to lunch and golf for 2 hours. Putt, right, for money, $5 a hole, and I'd lose 60 or 80 bucks, but that's what we were spending. We were bored stiff after 20 years. So the question I have for you, we have a lot of guests here tonight. Are you excited? Are you like bouncing out of bed excited about what you're doing every day? No, for the guests. All the eXp are like, yeah. No, the guests, and I'm like, if you're like me, I loved my 12 years at RE/MAX. I loved my 8 years at Keller Williams, but I never really bounced out of bed and was like, this is the most incredible thing in the world. And you're like, wow, that's a little over the top. I'm sorry, that's how I felt. And so if you are checking out eXp and you dare to take the plunge, which is what I did, there's a lot of guests here, and I haven't had a chance to meet all of you, but everyone's like, how did you know it would turn into this huge company? And, we were told at 1,400 agents we wouldn't be here in 2 years. And today there's 21,000. Give yourselves a hand for that, 21,000. I was told by passionate, credible people, the stock would be worthless. Today, we're trade on the NASDAQ. It's tripled since I joined, almost quadrupled. Give yourselves a hand for that. Is that amazing? So why is there so much misinformation about our company? And it's simple. People have other kingdoms, and they're not going, wow, it's so great you found eXp. Let me help you move. Let me help you pack up your office. They've bought in their franchise at Realty Executives or RE/MAX or Century 21. They're good people. But how much equity do their agents achieve? Answer? Nothing. And so the cool thing is, and this isn't a put down, we love other companies. eXp is not for everybody. And people will stay at Coldwell Banker. People will stay at RE/MAX. And we want to help them. They have families. They have kids. How many agree we want to see everyone do well? Do we all agree? And so, man, we're just pumped and excited about this company. So back to my original question, people would say to me, how did you know, though? How'd you know? And the answer is I didn't know. The answer is I came to eXp for 6 months. That's what I told the management team at Keller Williams that was so startled by the fact that I would leave the Love Boat, the Keller Williams, the largest real estate brokerage in North America, and you think, well, oh, come on, the Love Boat. I loved it there. I was quite happy there. And I wasn't losing sleep because I was so excited when I went to bed and so excited when I woke up. But we literally started getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We were so pumped. when we grabbed it, we seized it. And so what I said is, I'm going to give it 6 months. Does anyone know why 6 months? Because I knew that I was willing to risk my ego. I knew that I was willing to put in massive action. I knew I was willing to love people, care for them if they weren't interested. It was nothing personal, on to the next. There's 460,000 in California alone. And so I knew if it didn't work in 6 months, it wouldn't be because of me. I was not the question mark. It was, would the model really work? And I basically, for those of you that know the story, in about 8 months, I enrolled 40 agents. During that same 8 months, I listed 40 homes. And while doing this, focusing on Fridays, I called it eXp Friday, Expansion Friday, I listed 40 agents. So it's like listing homes, listing agents. How many of you have ever listed a home? Raise your hand, right? The whole room, right? Here's the deal. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you're successful, they give you a referral. If they become a raving fan, then you get to help their family, friends, and coworkers. And we've done that for decades, some of us, decades. Literally sold not only hundreds, but thousands of homes. And it's this endless treadmill. And that where you get suckered in kind of is when you get used to making 5, 6, 7, 800,000 a year, or maybe just 100, 200,000 a year. But when the market cycles, what happens to your income? Drops. And then you start grinding, you get a little tired. And so I have listed I would carry 18 listings at one time. And guess what? You know what I earned today from all that effort from 2 decades? Nothing. You know what I earned today from listing 40 agents, enrolling 40 agents in eXp, helping them see the vision? It is a crazy amount of money with lots and lots of commas and zeros, and it's like beyond my wildest dreams. And so some of you are going, yeah, but I'm too late. Look around the room. Brent got them all. You guys, we have 20. Let's go macro. You guys ready to go macro? Who wants to go big, right? 21,000 agents. There are 2 million agents and broker associates in North America. We have 1% market penetration. We are simply a major topic of discussion, along with Amazon, along with the woes of Realogy lately, if you've been watching that. We're just a major, whoa, check out eXp. That's all we are. What we are is we're like Uber before Uber was uber cool, right? We're Amazon before, like Warren Buffett saying, it'll never amount to anything. Warren Buffett said this, very credible person. And when they interviewed him recently this past year, he goes, I was just wrong. I don't know if it was my age, I'm just not super techie, but I got it wrong. Amazon's the largest corporation in the world. People you trust, people you care about will say we're not sustainable. We don't pay rev share from a savings account. You do understand how the model works. When revenue comes in, we share it immediately at the closing table. That's pretty cool. So we're not dipping, we're out of savings, can't pay rev share this month. I mean, it's almost ironic. We don't have thousands of offices to pay for. We don't have any. I mean, each state requires the broker to have a small office the size of a closet. You just have to have a physical address in most states. And so, when times get tough, they're stuck in 5 and 7 and 10-year commercial leases. And try to wiggle out of a $20,000, $30,000 a month commercial lease. Some of these offices, $40,000, $50,000 a month. You can. Who's flexible? eXp. We have about 500 agents in the world today. If we had to, we don't want to, but if we had to, we could lay off 250 overnight. We're a very agile company. We're the epitome of sustainability. So it's almost just absolutely a crack up. So here's the deal. I want to ask you tonight, and we're going to get Glenn up here, but do you have a dream, a vision for your life that's better than it is? You've ever gone, man, there's got to be something better than endless open houses, endless door knocking, endless calling expireds or marketing or doing all this. Most people are just going, how do I sell 20 homes a year? How do I sell 30? How do I sell 60? How do I get to 120? How do I get to 5? How do I get to 1,000? It's always more and more and more. What if you could do something in the next 6 to 12 months that could have an impact the rest of your life? And that's what eXp is doing. And so it gets down to this. If you're taking notes or just listening, write this down. You ready? It gets down to one thing. Here's my advice for you if you want to succeed at the highest levels in life and anything. Anything, not just EXP. Write this down. It's a 3-letter word, not a 4-letter word. Ego. Write that down. Make the middle note. Ego. You will be paid in direct proportion to the amount of times you're willing to risk your precious ego. I cannot begin to tell you the amount of people that would rather drop $250,000 on a franchise, cash, than risk their ego. I didn't drop the $250,000 on a franchise. I dropped $149. And I joined eXp like you guys. But what I risked often was my ego, because that savings deposit was limitless. I could risk it as much as I wanted. And I came from contribution. And if you will come from contribution, if you will help people, care for people, and be okay with them staying at Lions, be okay with them staying at Century 21 and Remax. Of course, we'd love them to come to EXP. But if you just go out there and sow and give, guess what comes back to you? Good stuff. We all agree? So here's the deal. Here's an objective for you. Become more valuable than their own sales manager at whatever company they're from. How many think that's a good thing? Help them. Well, what could I help them with? Well, what are you good at? Well, right now I'm new. I'm not good at anything. Okay, so job one for you is to learn how to do real estate. And you could get good really fast or long and painful. Who likes long and painful? Who likes slow and just agonizing and just not having a check and putting things on your credit card, right? How many just like to get it over with? It's an ego thing. It is an ego deal. You got all day tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Tuesday. The chat. I knew that. It was a little test. Actually, I messed that up. I'm golfing tomorrow morning at County Moon, though. I'm kind of excited. Anyways, I know. I'm sorry. But anyways, you got all day tomorrow. How many people could you ask about whether they want to list their home or maybe buy some real estate? Man, you got hours and hours and hours. How many will you ask that question to? Most of you in this room, none. 1, 2, 3. And you wonder why you don't make $500,000, $250,000, $100,000. In fact, I'm going to ask you a question. We got new people here. In your mind, how many of you are struggling just to make your first $100,000 in real estate? Remember that, Tom? Yeah. Do you remember that, Don? Your first, Luigi. Your first $100,000, big time REO broker in the front row, like a star. Okay, your first $100,000. You ever struggle to make your first? Does anyone relate to this? I can teach you how to do it right now. It's a snap. You know who taught me today? Glenn Sanford. We were talking today. I thought this is brilliant. He heard a speaker teach him, and he probably said who it was. I don't remember. So it's now my official teaching. But he said this. If you don't want to struggle to make $100,000, you like to make your first $100,000 in real estate, come up with a business plan. We're a business people. We all agree? You may, I'm just a salesperson. No, you're an independent contractor, and the IRS considers you self-employed, baby. You own a business. And yes, like all business people, you take out the trash, you make the coffee, you're in charge of sales, you're in charge of marketing, you're in charge of accounting, you're in charge of a lot of things. We all agree? So here's the deal. I want to challenge you to risk your ego often and with velocity, because you will kill it. And most people are so unwilling to get out there and to risk their ego. Write this down, and this will help you. I personally have a high tolerance for rejection. I really do. Some of you, they said, no, eXp is stupid, and I would never do that. People say that? Yeah, I probably had 12 people say that in my first year and a half. Rude people. I shouldn't have called them. Rob Flick, who has probably 8,000 people in his 7 levels that he gets paid on, 7 generations. He says this, call people with good energy that are nice. Because people with good energy are nice. Do they talk like that? So every once in a while I'd cross the line or call somebody that didn't have that. And every once in a while it would come back. But what I learned was I didn't replay it. Here's what some of you do. You replay it and replay it and replay it like a cassette tape in your mind. And you constantly reinforce that failure. Like, I didn't like how that felt. So if you will, just get over it. Just develop a high tolerance for rejection. They're not rejecting you. I love you. They may not love you, but I love you, okay? But they're not, after they reject you, tomorrow they're not thinking about you, but you're thinking about them. And next week, they're not thinking about you, but you're thinking about them. And next month, they're not thinking about you, but you're thinking about them. Trust me, you have to win the battle of your mind. I didn't like it when a few people did that. That was 12 out of like 178, right? It's not a huge number. But it doesn't feel good. Do we like that? It is your job to catch yourself and say no and think about something good. The other day, Cindy, who's one of my star agents on the Brent Gove team, if not the number one producing agent, she had some pretty cruddy things to do. I said, okay, I'm going to give you an assignment. Tony Robbins taught me this. Instead of dwelling on this cruddy, has anybody ever had anything bad happen in real estate? Is it a loan, rate lock expired, and the client or the seller's going to, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue your mom, your cousin, your nephew. We all go there, right? Well, she had, I don't even remember what it was, but it was stressful. Have you ever experienced stress in real estate, right? I said, here's what I want you to do. Oh, I know what it was. She said, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I was so stressed. Come on, be honest. Raise your hand if you've ever had a real estate transaction. I mean, if you've been around, it's a rite of passage. I said, here's what you do tonight. When you wake up or the situation you have no control over, and she truly had no control over it, and she did nothing wrong. I go, I want you to, instead of thinking about that situation, it just gives you that sick feeling in your stomach. I go, I want you to think about what you're grateful for. I want you to think about your husband, Jared. I want to think about your 2 beautiful daughters, London and JC. London and JC. I want you to think about the beautiful home, the beautiful kitchen you just remodeled. Just thank God. Come from gratitude. Think about what's good in your life. Because how do you know that if you focus on what's not going well with your marriage, you're headed for the wrong direction? We all agree? But if you focus on, okay, well, maybe that's not right, but what is good? And how do you think you should take control of your thoughts? If you like, I went to Tony Robbins a month ago in Dallas, and he started talking about news feeds. And on my iPhone, they just drop in Fox News, CNN, ABC, Hatchet Man in South Africa. Ah! Bullets flying in Texas. Ah! I even know about that. And I cut my news feeds a month ago. I have no news feeds. And it's just a little story here about a school bus where they stole 40 kids and buried them in the desert. And, is that going to help you? Does sensationalism sell in news? The more grotesque, the more horrific, the more, oh my gosh! They stole a school teacher and she was a grandma and had 14 kids. Right? And you're like, oh my gosh, do you really need to read that? So what are you reading? What are you surrounding yourself with? So here's my big thing. I decided to give eXp 6 months, and I went after it. And guess what happened? I enrolled a lot of agents, and they started enrolling agents. And so it started to work. And so here's the thing. If you really want to make anything work, your open houses work, your internet campaigns work, your relationship work, put massive action into what you're doing, not just a little bit. How many would agree with that? And then you think, okay, have I put massive action into get listings? It's one thing to go, man, I want some listings. Is that a plan? Man, I want some buyers. Yeah, I really want buyers. I want buyers so bad. And that's it. I just really want them. I love Brian Buffini. He's a real estate coach. He says, I'm from Ireland. He said, people put on their business cards, I love referrals. You ever seen that? He goes, I'm from Ireland. He goes, I love potatoes. Do you think people just walk up and give me potatoes? He said, you need a business plan and you need to execute. Tony Robbins said this. He interviewed billionaires, millionaires, the most successful people in the world. I mean, every single person you can think of, he's sat down with. And he said, here's the one defining characteristic or difference they all have. Successful people create. They come up with an idea, and then they immediately implement. Have you ever met people, yeah, someday I should do that. I should become a commercial real estate agent. I should buy my building someday. Someday I should figure out luxury listings and give Nick Sadek a run for his money in Granite Bay. I graduated from high school with Nick Sadek. He's a great guy, but he's not God. Okay? You could beat him. You could go compete in a good, healthy, head-to-head way. And so you got to create and you got to urgently implement. So I'll tell you this. Grant Cardone says this 10 times. 10 times it. Remember, you want to make 100,000, you're struggling to make 100. So it's your business plan. Well, you probably don't even have your one, right? You're a wandering generality. Well, I'm gonna doing a little this, little that, little this, little that. You're a wandering generality. How about becoming a meaningful specific? Actually come up with a game plan and then set it for 1 million and then work so hard to hit that The byproduct is 100,000. 100,000 will be easy. Do you get it? And then there's this guy called Grant Cardone. You ever heard of him? 10 times it. So what are your goals? And why is he begging everybody in America to go 10 times bigger than they're going? Anybody know? Because we set so small goals. We think we could do so little. Man, you got all day tomorrow. You could talk to 20 or 30 people tomorrow, but you may not because you're unwilling to risk your ego. And if you come from love and you reach out and you do those things, it'll go big. So here's the deal. Tony Robbins came up with this. It's really cool. It's called the 90-second rule. When something bad happens in your life, he allows himself 90 seconds to be upset. It's not that bad things don't happen. 90 seconds. And after that, stop. How many of you have a brother or a sister that needs to learn the 90-second rule? A relative, right? And they just stay there, my problems. Today I have someone very close to me who is there, and I'm like, I love you, but you need to that's not yours. You need to stop talking about that and talk about something else. If I sit here and talk to you about this for another 30 minutes, what's going to change? Nothing. I go, why are we talking about it? I agree, it's not fair, it's not right, but it happened. Let's focus on other things. If it's a counseling issue, then go to counseling. I was talking to Glenn Sanford today about something, and I was asking his opinion, and he goes, well, you know what I really think? I go, what? He goes, in 3 months, nobody will even think about it or remember. He goes, I found out most things just go away in 3 months. Can you remember your big problems? Come on, think about it. Remember, every real estate, we're paid to solve problems, right? How do I sell my house? How do I buy a house? Well, let's get you pre-approved. Let's get your home market right. The pictures were terrible. Let's get great pictures. They didn't stage your home. Let's stage your home. Let's solve problems. Let's price it right. Let's solve problems, right? We're paid to solve problems. And so guess what? 3 months ago, you had problems. Some of you had problems that was keeping you up at night. You can't even remember what they were today. It's all gone. So what's stressing you out so bad right now will be a non-issue. I thought that was brilliant, Glenn. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'm on home stretch. Write this down. Proximity is power. How many believe in that? Oh, yeah. Proximity is power. So who are you hanging out with? I remember when I was hanging out with agents who sold 10 and 20 homes a year, it was weird. I sold 10 and 20 homes a year. Then I started hanging out with agents who were selling 40 and 50 homes a year. And interesting enough, I started selling 40 or 50 homes a year. And I was in the top 15 agents of RE/MAX Gold out of, I think there were 800 or 900 agents at the time at RE/MAX Gold. And there was maybe 9 of them doing 70 deals a year. And I was like, wow, there's one couple doing 170. 1 out of 800, they were doing 100 more sales a year than anyone else. And so I met with them. I started learning from them. I found out they went to events. They would go to Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Joe Stump, Craig Proctor, RE/MAX's annual convention. They would go to real estate training and they would take notes and apply. So I started going. I started seeing them at those events. It was really odd. And the first event I went to was in Toronto. Is Toronto far away from Sacramento, yes or no? Does anybody know how many miles it is? Thousands. Dad, you're in the back. Wave, Dad. That's my dad in the back of the room there. Doesn't he look handsome in his shirt and tie? He look good. He's like, my son's not going to dress up, but I'm going to show him how to do it. Dad, do you remember going to Toronto with me back in the day? Do you remember going to lunch with Leonard Fazio from Iowa? He's in Iowa, you guys. How many homes do you think a guy in Iowa can sell? 10 farmhouses? He sold 600 homes a year. And he spoke, 800 people in the audience, Craig Proctor, wow. I see him in the hallway. I go, hey, Leonard, any chance my dad and I could buy you lunch and go to lunch with you? Sure, man. And we took Leonard Fazio to lunch. We spent an hour with him. And he poured his heart out. He pontificated about how to do it. I came back and went from 48 sales a year to 108 in the next 12 months. Are you getting on planes, trains, automobiles? Are you going to Las Vegas on the 20th? I know you are. Some of you are like, what's that? Oh, you'll find out. Kyle Whistle's going to be there. He's going to sell 1,000 homes in the next 12 months. And you meet him and you realize he's no different than me. I think I could knock out 40. I'm telling you, 40 homes a year will change your life. 1,000's ridiculous. But when you hang around people who are killing it, you will begin to kill it. If you hang around people who do drugs, you do drugs, right? If you hang around people like some of our relatives that are just staying in this, my problems, you're like, oh God, I got them too. Let's go drinking. Drinking's the only answer. Let's go to the bar. Let's knock down a cold one, a whole bunch of them to numb the pain. And all of a sudden you realize there's different people. I'm going to Fiji in the end of March to hang out with Tony Robbins. I'm going to Grant Cardone to hang out with Grant Cardone. It's easy for you now that you've got this big. I did this stuff a long time ago. I've been doing this stuff for 30 years. I'm not an overnight success. I'm the slowest one in the room. Right? So you got to embrace growing and being teaching and being coachable. I want to challenge you there. So let me ask you a question. Who are you intentionally getting around? Now, I got to admit, I am preaching to the choir tonight. By the way, I always wanted to be a pastor, so hold on. I might do a little preaching here. But I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are here. You're like, we want to hear from this Glenn Sanford, the guy who's changing the face of real estate after 100 years of it being a certain way. It was broker top down, broker, sales manager, agent, broker, associate, but it was top down. He's like, I'm going to empower every single agent with ownership. And then I'm going to let them share in the revenues of the company. And as the company grows and adds other services like mortgage, title, and escrow, the agents will benefit. I remember in the 80s seeing the loan officer sitting in Coldwell Bankers. And there'd be like 10 Coldwell Banker agents using that loan officer and the other 90 not using them. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So I encourage you to do this before we go up here. I'm going to say this: be teachable, be coachable. Let me ask you a question. Are you coachable? In your inside, are you coachable? Are you? Are you? I see a lot of heads nodding. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. Yeah, with the hat. I'm looking at you. You look good, Bob. Here's the deal. I'm looking in the back room. Are you coachable? Bill, I'm looking at you. Yep. Are you coachable? Yeah, I'm coachable. Really? Doug, you coachable? Because people will speak into your life who have gotten to where you want to be. And they're going to go, here's how you do it. And you'll go, tell me. And you'll go, like Jesus talked to the rich young ruler, and he goes, I'm out. You know that story, right? Told you I wouldn't preach, but I might get close. So here's the deal. People will tell you exactly what to do, and you'll go, nope, can't do that. Write this down. If you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. Isn't that a good one? If you win that argument, well, I would, but get your butt out of the way, right? So here's the coachable moment. Remember I asked you if you were coachable a second ago? We have 88 people 15 months ago come to Scottsdale to meet with us, to play golf, swim, go to dinner, hang out. 88 people showed up 15 months ago with 3 weeks' notice. Get on a plane, we're meeting in Scottsdale. Started with 4 of us, then 8, then 16, then 32. 3 weeks later, 88 people flew in from all over the U.S. August 20th at 7 p.m. at night, so you can fly in Las Vegas at the Red Rock Resort. We're going to do our big annual leadership. The next one's in a year. You need to be there. And it's not what's said between 2:30 to 6:30. What? Your event doesn't go 8 to 5 every day? No, we're not taking you to a beautiful location and stuff you in a convention room. We start at 2:30. You guys lazy? No, we're golfing. We're at the spa. We're at the pool at 10 a.m. or 11 playing pool volleyball. We're drinking little umbrella drinks with Jesus-made wine. It's okay. With a little umbrella drink. With the pina colada, you just don't have too many and go crazy. It's okay. Everything in moderation. And it's who you meet at the pool. It's who you're golfing with. It's who you meet when you get out of the spa and you're just sitting there in that little Zen room and you look over and Kyle Whistle's there and he's doing 1,000 deals here and you start talking to him. It's the people you meet getting coffee. It's the people you meet because you go, I'm not going to be shy. And you ask like a Leonard Fazio, hey, can I buy you breakfast? Oatmeal at Starbucks? I mean, whatever your budget is, right? And if you will come to Las Vegas, it's August 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and you come there to soak it up, not to criticize the event. This isn't eXp. This is just James and I put on this event with Gene Frederick and Rob and Sheila, and we're just normal people. We have 1,100 people coming this at 15 months later, 88 to 1,100. Yeah, go ahead. It's all right. Now listen to this. We have people flying in from Australia and the UK, and you can't get. I bought a ticket last night for somebody, $179 airfare, down and back. It's not expensive. You could share a room with somebody. Well, I can't afford. Again, are you coachable? I'm telling you right now, you need to be there. It could be life-changing for you, or it could be just another week in the summer. Be another hot week. Well, I'm busy. I get this. Unbusy yourself. I'm getting married. People get married in Las Vegas all the time, right? I'm attending a funeral. Let the dead bury the dead. They videotape these things. Watch the video. I'm horrible. If you die, I don't go to funerals. I haven't been to a funeral. I don't even know. I went to my grandfather's funeral like 25 years ago. I'm not a funeral guy. Now, so here's the deal. Be coachable. Make the decision and act. And we'll end with this. I can promise you that when you do that the storms will come. The second you make a positive decision, I am going on a diet. Tomorrow, someone will go, I made brownies, everybody. If you want to eat brownies, declare your goal to go on a diet, and brownies will appear at your office. I'm no joke. That is no joke. Does anyone ever seen that happen, or is it just me? Like everybody's bake night. Brent's going on a diet. Chocolate chip cookies, brownies, fudge. It's like, what? Fudge. Now, so here's the deal. The storms of life, this stuff's going to happen. Do you know when there's resistance, when it starts blowing? The faster the wind blows, the faster the boat goes. Sailboats harness the wind and use it to propel them forward. What you think is a curse is the best thing that could ever happen to you. Your car breaking down again, I hope you've just had enough and you've had it up to here. I've shown property in Granite Bay in an old Mercedes turbo diesel and had the whole muffler from the front to the back just drop. I mean, like 12 feet of muffler, right? Because the rubber bushings just gave away. And we're sparking and driving. I go, this is normal, man. Sparking, we're just cool. It was an attorney for the IRS. He had 28 other attorneys he managed. He goes, dude, you seriously need to get a different car. And I didn't have the money back in that day. You know what I did to fix it? Same thing I did with my open house signs. Bungee cords. I got on there and bungeed that sucker back up and drove it for another year. Okay? I've been there. So there's an interesting story in Colorado, and we're done. And the story goes like this. When the storms come over the plains in Denver, out in the high country, 5,000 feet, they come from the west and they roll to the east. The cows see the storms coming and they go, holy moly, that's a nasty storm. Documented fact, National Geographic. They turn and they start running from the storm. Are the cows able to outrun the storm coming in at 25 to 35 miles an hour? It eventually catches up with them, but they keep heading east, which actually prolongs their misery. Do we agree? The buffalo, on the other hand, they're sitting there, chewing in the pasture. They look up and they see that storm coming, and they wait till the last second, true story, and they turn and they head right into the face of that storm. They head west, taking it head on, and they run and they don't stop running till the storm passes over, and they get it over with quick. So my question for you tonight, are you a cow? Are you a buffalo? How long you gonna take it, right? I mean, I'm not a cow. I'm a buffalo. And you know what? I will help you do this. Tom Daves, Don Yoakum, Luigi, Krista, who is up here, Frank Crandall, Chris Okamura, I could name Glenn Sanford. We will go to the mat for you because we're in this together. We are linking arms. I always help my friends at Remax and Keller Williams. I always did that. But now I'm like totally obsessed with it. That's the twist. And we sell homes. My little group is going to sell 28,000 homes this year. Is that pretty good? Close. They don't show real estate. We're going to record and close on 28,000 homes. Is that cool? And that's just the beginning.